A few weeks ago, I made a video called The Ultimate Guide for Building Roofs in Minecraft, and I realize now that that was a bit of a ridiculous title because I didn't go into ultimate detail in some of those steps that I described in the video. So today, I'm going to make up for that by going into ultimate detail in one of those steps. Here are 15 roof designs that you can use for your house or building in Minecraft. Now, some of these roof designs you've probably seen before. You might just not know the name of them. Some of them you've probably never heard of before. Some were made by me, some were made by other people. You never really know. So keep that in mind when watching today's video and hope you guys learned something. I should also mention before we start that there are a couple different types of roofs in Minecraft. First of all, there is a style of roof where the roof comes up and meets a single line like this. So on this roof, this side of the roof and this side of the roof come together and they can join into this single line at the very top of the roof. Other roofs, such as this one over here, all converge at a single point, so you create a nice 3D shape. Some converge on a set of lines, so if you have a cross shape on the ground, then you're going to have several different roof patterns leading up to that cross shape. We're just going to be covering this style of roof today, where the sides of the roof can join into this one line at the top, as opposed to a one point or multiple points, multiple lines. So keep that in mind. However, also keep in mind the shape of the roofs that we are going to be going over today, because some can be created in this kind of style. So pay attention to the slope and how these roofs can be created in a 3D shape instead of just a 2D. All right, let's get into the list. The first roof we're covering today is the flat roof, and this is perhaps the most basic of all roofs because it's flat. There's no shape to it at all whatsoever. It's just completely flat across the top. Now, I made all the roofs today using the same palette. I used stone bricks for the outer edge of the roof, dark oak for the inner part of the roof, and then the house itself is made out of spruce logs and planks. So the houses are going to look quite similar, and they might not all look best with this block palette, so keep that in mind. Personally, I think this roof is going to look best on smaller buildings where the roof is made out of the same material as the rest of your building. For example, if you had a small stone building or small sandstone building or brick building and the roof is the same material as the rest of your building, so stone or sandstone or brick. If you wanted to make an apartment complex or something like that, then this would be a good block for you to use there. I've tried to add a little bit of detailing by going with some stairs occasionally and adding some slabs here and there. This one doesn't look fantastic with this palette, but I decided to stick with one palette for today's video, so that's what we're going to do with. So yeah, the flat roof, very simple, very basic, very easy to make. Next up is a roof I'm sure you're all familiar with, and that is the gable roof. The gable roof is made with just stairs in mind, so you have stairs coming up all the way and then all the way back down. Stairs, inverse stair, stair, inverse stair, all the way up to the top. You can build these on an even number of blocks, such as in this house right here, but this is built on an odd number of blocks, 7 to be precise. One detail that you could add at the top is having the top block of your roof match the rest of the block that you built the outer edge of your roof in. If you did build the outer edge of your roof in a separate block, such as I have done here with stone brick. This works best on an odd number of blocks because if you did it on an even number of blocks, then you'd have 2 stairs converging at the top, and it'd be a very thick border. This way your roof looks a bit more structured, however, it also looks perfectly fine if you decide not to do that. This is another very easy roof to make, and I'm sure you're all familiar with it. So yeah, it's a very simple roof design, but it's tried and tested, and it's a classic. Moving on to the next roof, we have the A-frame, named so because it looks like an A. It's a very, very tall roof, so tall in fact that I decided to build it on the ground, and it still is taller than the gable roof that we just covered. You could decide to build this on a taller house. For example, you started the A-frame on the 2nd floor, and then you have a very tall and thin, narrow attic. But it looks pretty good like this as well. If you want to build a tent, then the A-frame is going to be a decent roof for you if you want a very tall and narrow tent. Very tall, very narrow buildings are going to look good with this style of roof, especially Tudor-style houses. Keep that in mind. Overall, this is a very simple roof to make. It's simply block, or sorry, inverted stair, block, stair, inverted stair, block, stair. Keep going all the way up, and then I have another stair at the top. Similar to the gable roof, you can structure it like this, where you have a liner at the top, and this is going to make your roof look very nice and structured. It's going to look even better on the A-frame roof than it does in the gable roof, in my opinion. So this is certainly a much more viable look. In my humble opinion. However, like I mentioned, it looks just fine like this as well. So the A-frame roof, nice and simple, nice and tall, great roof. This next roof that we have is called the half gable because it's a gable roof that goes halfway up to the top and then it's flat along the edge. Now I've made this roof just a bit thicker just to show you another design cue that you can make. Once you've gone and created this half gable roof, it doesn't have to maintain this flat look across the top. It can make that 3D look that we were talking about earlier. You can make this extra third layer come back, and so your top of your house is going to come back like this. It's a bit of a more complicated roof to make, but it looks quite good. And like I said, you can leave it flat across the top. It's not going to look bad that way either. It's good for making very short attics. Um, Personally, I prefer this more 3D structured look of it, but it's a nice looking roof. It's a very detailed looking roof. Looks quite good. It's not You're not going to get the most out of it for smaller structures like this, but on a much larger scale, this half gable is going to look quite good. It's a very interesting roof, and I'm sure not many of you have considered doing an A-frame or a gable roof like this. So, yeah, try this out and see how it works for you. This next roof that we have is what I am dubbing the hybrid roof because it is a hybrid between the A-frame and the gable roofs that we mentioned earlier. Down here at the bottom, we have the gable roof coming up for a couple blocks. Then we have the A-frame going up for a few more blocks. And then we meet at the top in a gable roof. I have built this. Ooh, keep falling. I have built this on an even number of blocks because personally I think it looks quite a bit better on this even block number. This is also going to look a lot better on a much larger roof because the gable at the top and then the A-frame down the sides and the gable along the sides is going to be a lot more pronounced. Uh, it also looks pretty good on on a whole number of blocks. For example, if you just did whole blocks instead of stairs for this build, such as like this, uh, then it doesn't look bad either. Kind of like this shape. Yeah, not bad. I recently saw this design in a video by the amazing Mr. B000100. If you have not seen his channel, check it out. He is a phenomenal builder in his own right. Absolutely wonderful. But yeah, he made a design sort of similar to this, and he built that on the whole block instead of the stairs and slabs that we've been using so far. So yeah, go check out his videos for more building tutorials and building inspiration. He is truly a fantastic builder. But yeah, this is a very interesting roof. It creates kind of this tall, narrow upper floor, but then this keeps the wider bottom floor. So a bit of an interesting roof, in all honesty. Uh, but yeah, very unorthodox, but quite cool looking, I think. Up next is very similar to the hybrid roof we just looked at. This is the Gambrel roof. And it's very similar in that it is a cross between the gabled roof right here at the top and then also the A-frame here along the sides. So it starts very steep and then rounds off more towards the top. It's a bit of an interesting roof, and it's going to look better on smaller builds. We have another one similar to it over there that I will show you later, but it's a very cool roof. And it's definitely mixing it up in terms of the style that you're building. You're putting multiple styles together in a very cool looking pattern. So this is another roof that I highly recommend. It's a very cool roof. Also notice that I did not put a stair at the top because this rounds it out just a bit more. A stair would kind of throw off the pattern of the roof, as you can see. Doesn't look quite as good like that. So a slab will do quite nicely. Roof number 7 for today is the mono-pitched roof because the roof is pitched in one direction, hence mono-pitched. This is made out of just slabs, and one of the problems with using just slabs is that normally if you have the slab roof just like this, then you're going to have a lot of holes like this where the roof peeks through, or either the wall is going to peek through onto your roof. So what you want to do is you want to have stone slabs underneath the slabs that line your roof here on the edges. That way it looks just a bit better. Mono pitched roof is going to be better for smaller builds, especially shacks, that sort of thing. But it's a very simple roof. I'm sure many of you have seen this before. It's a very easy roof to make and a very good one for small builds. Next up is a bit of an unusual roof called the Mansard roof. Now, the Mansard roof is flat across the top, but then it's curved around the edges and then flat along the sides again. A bit of a unique styled roof. Here you can see I have made it using slabs here on the bottom. Then you go block, stair, invert stair, and then slabs all the way across. So, yeah, and then I've created this little edge along the top, little bump across the top because having it flat, like I originally noted, doesn't look quite as good. It's not quite as detailed. So if you have this little ridge across the top, it creates a little more interest in your build. So yeah, the Mansard roof, again, very unorthodox roof, but it looks kind of cool. Now we have the curved roof, which is basically the Mansard roof, but tall. Uh, it's very simple to make. It's, again, flat along the sides and flat along the top, but the curve is much more pronounced here along the edges, hence why it has the curved roof name. Once again, I started with a slab on the bottom, then block, block, stair, inverted stair, then block here, inverted stair, slab, block, and then an inverted stair at the very top. So yeah, then we fill in the rest of the roof with the dark oak, and there you go. You have your curved roof. This is going to be a lot better on taller houses than the Mansard style, in my opinion. And it's going to be cool for creating sort of barns, if you will. Uh, I think it will. And also it could be cool for some older style housing, kind of medieval villages, if you can imagine that. I think having a maybe a very light house and then a very dark roof, sort of like what we have here, would look very cool in an older setting. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Our last 6 roofs for today are going to be much bigger than the roofs that we just covered. And starting with the M-shaped roof. Now, did you like the gable roof? Well, then you will love the M-shaped roof because it's 2 gable roofs for the price of 1. Now, this roof is built on an even number of blocks. That way, the gable style roofs will come down to this point, which is on the same level as the outer edges. The M style roof is not something you see a whole lot in real life, just because it isn't very practical in real life. It would have water drain down into this crack. The whole point of roofs is to keep water off your house, but then this would just collect water in this crack right here. So it's a bit of a different roof. One thing you could do is you could have a connector coming across here, and notice how I did decide to have this pattern of stone bricks here along the top. You could have this connector, and then you connect the roofs in a way similar to this. You have stairs coming across like that, connecting your 2 roofs, and that way water would drain out just a little bit better. You see what I'm going for here? Kind of like that. But you could just leave the roofs as they are. Bit of an interesting roof, certainly, but it's quite cool in my opinion. I think it's very simple to make in terms of these larger roofs. Like I said, just 2 gable style roofs put together with some inverted stairs connecting the 2. But yeah, very simple roof, very easy to make. Bit unorthodox again. We're getting some more unorthodox roofs for these last few, but very cool nonetheless. Now we have a slight variation of the Gambrel style roof. This is what I am calling the barn style roof. It's like Gambrel style, but on a much larger scale. So if you notice barns here in the south where I live, they have sort of a flat top, but then very steep sides. So I decided to copy that. I have A-frame slope on the sides, but then we have the mono-pitched roof, just slab pitch here on the very top. So this is going to create sort of a loft attic space just by natural spacing, which you could use, and then a very large underneath portion, which is just a bit bigger than the attic space itself. Again, this is going to look a lot better on much larger buildings. If you go for a smaller building, you're not going to get quite the same effect. You might as well just go for a Gambrel style. Coming in at number 12, we have the low pitch Gable style roof, called so because it's a lower pitched version of the Gable style roof that we looked at earlier. It's essentially this top section of barn style, except it's the whole roof. So basically, it's two of the mono-pitched roofs put together into one. This is going to be much better for very short, wide buildings, such as this one that I'm sort of emanating here. It's also going to look better on buildings where you don't want, it's very tall already, and you don't want it to be too much taller. Then you could just do the low pitch Gable style roof. Yeah, this is a very simple roof to make, but it looks quite good. It looks quite cool, I think. This is going to be very useful for a lot of the different builds that you're going to make. Roof number 13 is the Clarestory style. This is, again, sort of like the mono-pitched roof, except two different floors. It's kind of split. So you have one floor has the mono-pitched roof down here, and then you have another floor, which is way up here with the mono-pitched style roof. A bit of an unusual roof, but it's going to look quite cool nonetheless, in my opinion. One thing you could do is you could have a post right here, a wood post, say, there we go. Now this looks just a bit more structured. Bit of an interesting roof, this one. One thing you could do is out on this side of the roof, you could have like a balcony or something coming off of this story. So yeah, bit of an interesting roof. It allows for a lot of different structure combinations in your building. You could have this section be 2 stories tall, and then this section 4 stories, or 3 stories, or 5 stories. Who knows? Bit of an interesting roof, but a very cool roof nonetheless. Again, one of the more useful roofs in my opinion, but very, very neat. Our penultimate roof for today is a bit of a weird one. It's called Saltbox style, and it's strange because the center of the roof is not at the center of the house. We have the Gable style roof, the regular Gable style roof, coming up to meet at one point. And then over on this side, we have the low pitch Gable made out of slabs coming up to the other point. So the roof is going to be much closer to the side with the Gable style roof, the steeper slope, than it is on this side. It leaves a lot of options open in terms of how you want to build your roof. Maybe you want your front of your house on this side, and then the back of your house is on this side with a much steeper or less steep roof. Leaves plenty of options open for how you want to build your roof. Very cool roof indeed. Lastly, our final roof for today is butterfly style. And similar to Saltbox style, the center of the roof is not in the center of the house. However, what is strange is that similar to the Clarestory style, one side of the house is much taller than the other side of the house. So to create your butterfly roof, you want to start here in the center with your 2 slabs, one here at the top of your half block, or the top of your block, and then you just want to create slabs all the way up, similar to the mono-pitch style. So basically putting 2 mono-pitch styles roofs, but instead of like the low-pitch gable here, you put in them back to back instead of front to front. Again, this is a very, very unorthodox roof, but it's going to create some interesting structures. So again, this would be better for smaller houses, in my opinion, smaller shacks, Not too small or narrow like those roofs that we just discussed. You want to have it nice and wide. That way your butterfly roof style will be very pronounced. Very cool roof, very interesting. Love to see how you guys use this in your builds. Again, it might be better on a different color palette or different block palette than the one I have chosen. I had to make a block palette decision that would sort of fit everything that we did here. But the butterfly roof, very cool roof. I think it doesn't look too bad in this palette, but you never know. Maybe there's a different palette that it looks better for. If there is, let me know in the comments below. But that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed and found something useful out of it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe down below. Coming up soon, I don't know, something. I'll probably live stream Friday or Monday, or maybe even both. Who knows? Maybe some Rocket League, maybe some Siege. Might even play some Mineplex or Hypixel or something like that. Who knows? But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed. And I will see you all sometime soon. Goodbye.